on the panel, we have Stephen Wang, who dropped out of Harvard to start a company called Dub. He raised $47 million. Who here is familiar with Dub or uses a copy trading app? Okay, quite a few people. He's got a 1.5 million users. Did you drop out of high school as well? I read something like that?
I did, back in the day.
Dropped out of high school, dropped out of Harvard, now building this copy trading financial app. Also sold the company before. You guys have probably seen him on Fortune, a bunch of other news outlets. And then we have Austin Nasso, who used to be a software engineer at Microsoft, started doing comedy, now has blown up, over 2 million followers. How many tickets have you sold to your to the Tech Roast show?
I think my... Okay, it's on. I don't know. I think probably like 75,000 tickets over. It's like since we started, 75,000 tickets probably.
Woo! Yeah. So these guys are killers. I'm really grateful to have them on the panel with me today. Let's just give them a round of applause before they start. So I introduced you guys, but maybe we start with just an introduction about how you got started and what you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Andrew, give the quick highlight. I'm born and raised in Detroit, 2 Asian immigrants, didn't have that much money growing up, so got into investing. Got into entrepreneurship really early on as well, so dropped out of high school to sell my first company. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Made my way back to school and left 7 months in at Harvard during COVID and moved here 4 years ago. Been building up ever since. The first 2-3 years were an absolute grind until we launched a product a year and a half ago, and it's been all the way up since. And been very fortunate to have a phenomenal team now. We're a little over 30 people in New York City, but got a bunch of folks abroad, and been fortunate to have some phenomenal investors as well. But current Dub at high level, we're the copy trading platform. And the whole idea is like instead of trading stocks, you copy other experts. And most retail investors just aren't that good at investing. 70% of people underperform the markets. And the whole idea is like, how do you simplify that? Just follow what the smart money is doing. And ultimately, I think the mission has really evolved into now where 50% of Americans don't invest. They're not participating in the greatest wealth creation engine of capitalism, the stock market. The whole idea is now, how do we simplify that? How do we make it simple? How do we give sophisticated tools to regular people and help them participate in probably one of the greatest wealth creation opportunities ever with sort of AI in the future of the markets? So it's been really rewarding to have loads of customers now, and also being able to work with phenomenal creators like Austin and make some money together for the rest of America.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even know it was an option to drop out of high school. Like, damn. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. That's impressive. Mine's less impressive. I'm Austin Nasso. Hi. I started doing comedy like 12 years ago when I was in high school. I didn't drop out. And I would like take a train in from the city like during senior year to do comedy classes in New York City. I'm from Connecticut. And been doing stand-up for like 12 years at UCLA. I went to UCLA. I started the comedy org on campus there as I studied comp sci, and I had a very sad computer science degree life. Went to Microsoft after I graduated. I stayed there for 4 years. When I was there, the audio's kind of okay. When I was there, I started Tech Roast Show with Jesse Warren, and then that was like 7 years ago. So Tech Roast Show, even though a lot of you might have seen Tech Roast Show in the last like 1 to 2 years, we started doing the show 7 years ago in Seattle. And the first time we did the show, like it was roast of the Seattle tech scene. And the main premise was that all these kids were graduating out of college and going to Seattle for computer science, and they were so socially inept and broken, riding their like scooters into traffic and making $200K and not knowing what to do with it. And we're like, we have to make fun of these people. So we, on the premise alone, our first show started selling like a ton of tickets. Like we were able to sell out that first one. And after I moved to LA, I was able to like come back and travel just from selling tickets alone. So we kept doing that 2018, 2019. And then COVID, we had to shut down. We got a government grant because we shut down. And then I started doing social media. And then we started selling a ton of tickets from social media. And then I quit my Microsoft job in 2021. Now I do it full time.
I didn't know you started 7 years ago. Was it like recently where you just like suddenly blew up? Because I feel like everyone in tech knows who you are. But it was like maybe like a COVID thing, or when you started social?
Yeah, so I first started doing it, like I was doing comedy like you guys know now for a long time, But during COVID, we couldn't perform live anymore. So like a lot of creators, I just started making videos, and I started doing like random political impressions. Like I would do this Cuomo impression, and I got on Z100, which was random. I had like 2,000 followers on TikTok, and I was like, everyone in, dude, there's something up with it. Everyone in New York should wear a mask. What do I mean by this? A mask is an object you put around your face. What is a face? And he would just kind of explain everything. So I did a bit about that, and then I transitioned to doing Trump and Biden stuff. So everyone like knew me for that. I would do a lot of Donald Trump, and we're looking into Tylenol. We don't know about Tylenol. They call it acetaminophen. We don't know what it is. We're going to have RFK take it away. RFK is doing a very great job. We're getting rid of Tylenol. Tylenol's causing cancer. Okay, so I'll do a lot of political impressions. Those did well. And then we realized in order to keep selling tickets, so like when live stuff started back up again, the government gave us funding. Like there was there were $30,000. So there were all these federal grants for the arts because we were shuttered, and they gave us like some percentage of our like 2019 revenue, and they just gave it to us. We didn't have to pay. So that was kind of like the seed funding for our comedy show. And in 2021, I realized I displaced live performing with like content, and now that like things were opening up again, I couldn't do my job, do content, and also like travel for shows. So I had to cancel my Microsoft job. It was too much. So, and I like planned strategically so I could do that. Like I got like a rental property and offset my income so I'd be able to do that. Like I treated myself like I was a startup, like with runway. Yeah, we have the seed funding, offset my expenses. Let me know if I should stop talking. Yeah.
So how did you guys meet? Tell us the story. How did you meet? And like
testing.
I remember vividly. I think Austin followed maybe Dub. Maybe
Yeah,
me,
I
and
followed-
I DM'd him.
Yeah, I followed
Yeah.
Dub, and then he DM'd me. So it was
Sent
kind of like a
saucy DM,
mutual.
set up the DMs.
Yeah, I saw Steven like doing all these talks, and I was like, who is this young genius? And I actually thought the product was really cool because it sounded like a really viral idea that made a lot of sense because I know a lot of people don't know how to trade. So I just thought it was cool that people that don't know how to trade could copy other people's trades. And it's like social media combined with stocks and with how everything's being memified. It just kind of made sense. So I thought it was cool. And I was really grateful that I think Peter from your team reached out to me. And then we just like set up a meeting, and then Steven's like, you have to go to Carbone. And then he took me to Carbone, and I'm like, I'm down. Yeah.
Hey, the best way is breaking bread.
It's true.
Only way to do it.
It is true.
for those of you who don't know Steven, he's Carbone's #1 customer in New York, maybe in the world, but in New York. I've heard this from multiple people.
Are you actually?
I am.
Okay.
That is the one thing I can brag about tonight. I only eat the same 4 restaurants. I'm a creature of habit.
What are the 3 others?
That's the most tech bro thing I've ever heard.
Okay.
You're like, I only eat at Carbone. That's so funny.
We'll save that one for later, Andrew. I don't want to give away my secrets.
Okay, yeah. We can't give away the secrets.
So you guys were DMing back and forth.
Yes.
And then now, like, you're in like a long-term relationship.
We're in a long-term
partnership.
It started in the DMs, and now we are...
We broke bread, and then we started dating, basically.
Yeah.
And, one thing that I really appreciate about Austin, we're jumping ahead a little bit, is, to me, it's still so important to break bread. Most of the folks that we met in sort of influencer space, very egotistical. You kind of meet them, they've got the facade on, and the authenticity, like, you just don't get that from many people, like Austin's stature and sort of the amount of inbound that he probably gets. I still really appreciate that. And the most successful relationships that we've had is like, I don't want to do any business with you to start. I just want to sit you down, look you in the eyes, have some good beers or some good wines together over some good spicy rigatoni, and then see your vibe. I think when you build that authentic relationship with somebody, the content just comes through much more because you have the trust in them, and they understand you and the mission of the product. So I still think back to that dinner. I still remember it very vividly. That was such an important part of sort of this the start of this relationship, and it's been very successful so far.
Yeah, Steven's been a very nice, real, true human, and it was really nice to like actually meet in person and see that you're not. I don't know. A lot of in the tech space, a lot of people are just like full of shit. So it's like either just the vibe is off, and it's good to just like meet people in person and just have a conversation.
That's why I should be in New York City.
I like that. There's a lot of creators in this room who are trying to land brand deals similar to the one you've done. So I'm curious, like, what does the first brand deal look like, and then how did you know it was time to like go all in and do like a year-long partnership where Austin is like effectively the face of your brand in some regard?
Yeah, so to our end, usually what we do is like, we'll do like a pilot test, right? Do a couple videos sort of upfront, see if sort of that works. I think Austin was a special case where he just converted and like we knew him so well at that point and his content just kind of clearly works and there's really good retention sort of from other brands. So this is one of those things where like I knew him well enough at that point where like, let's just do a long-term contract. But I'd say like maybe contrary to what a lot of people think, like the way we originally started with doing a bunch of micro influencers, that's probably where you should start. You can do volume, really small contract. They probably have better engagement rates. But what we found is like that, like you just didn't get real quality content. Is at the end of the day, that's still a volume game in many ways. The stuff that Austin puts out is some of the highest quality shit I've ever seen come out of a creator. And I know he puts his heart and energy. I've watched him film in the office, and that really makes a difference. And that is worth the dollar investment. Of course, not everyone is luxury, like Dub, not everyone I know can give out like 6-figure contracts to sort of creators. But for us, like we're at the point now where its quality way surpasses sort of quantity. The flip side of that is you can leverage the content that's created, and we do this with Austin's content. It works phenomenally well, not just organically, but also as ads. And that's a hidden superpower where it's content that converts organically, but think about scaling that up 100x. And that's worked phenomenally for our business as well. And it's synergistic with the creator, getting the creator more exposure. I'm putting that ad in front of millions of people, maybe on a weekly basis. And then it also makes us money as a company.
And Austin, what's your approach? You have this maybe a creative brief, and you have to create something awesome for a brand, and just really blow it out the water. Like, what's your approach to making something really good?
Well, I mean, I treat all my content like I'm a production company. So it's just like breaking it down from funny creative. I mean, right now I'm writing all the scripts myself. And then I have a team that helps me like break down the script, find a location, get all the props, like set everything up, like just like a cinematic shoot. I'm trying to go in a direction for my stuff where I'm making my things more cinematic, and that's just like more of a personal preference. I know like a lot of the creator economy, that world is just like quick iPhone videos. But I think in order to have longevity, you need to sort of align the content that you're making with what you ultimately like to do on a day-to-day basis, because that's what you're doing. So to make it more enjoyable for me, I'm trying to make it higher quality.
Do you guys have examples of when like things have bombed? Like maybe Steven, you working with a creator, or Austin, you working with a brand?
I worked with one company. It was like one of those companies that like it's like dick pills, like
like Hims?
Yeah, like
Hims.
One of those. It wasn't. I don't think it was Hims. It was like one of the other ones. I don't remember which one it was. But I just did my like big chin tech CEO filter character, and I'm just like making all these like jokes about it, and I'm like, okay, this is perfect. If I put this on, I can go for like 1 minute longer, or like all these jokes that were like kind of offensive. And then, but the brand already saw all my content, so they're familiar with these characters. And then after I sent them the video, they're just like, this is so unacceptable. Like, not only do we not even want a revision, we never want to hear from you again. And then I threatened to sue them. So I sent them the contract because they had to pay me. Because I did it, I filmed it, I made it. That's their problem. They didn't do their due diligence. Like, they saw my content, and then afterwards they were offended. I'm like, all right.
You just post it.
All right, by the way, I don't always do that, but like they were assholes. So that was a bad experience. So that was like 3 years ago.
For me, we signed maybe close to $500,000 deal with one of these big sports brands. You'll know the name. There's a lot of sports brands. So I won't say the name contractually. And it was across multiple of their creators on one of their biggest shows as part of the sports brand network. And it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. There was no authenticity the way that they created the content. And clearly you could just see they're just reading the ad read. They just didn't care. And part of it, I think it could have been a swatch if I actually gone up front and sort of built the relationship with the creators. They weren't based in New York City. I should have flown out, sort of broken bread with them, sat down with them to really assess like what I'm getting here. We kind of really just went off sort of like they've been very successful with some other deals. But it was just, the content just didn't hit. It was very apparent very quickly that they just really weren't trying. And there's other operational pieces sort of behind the company, how they organize the content that didn't really resonate. But I would say it just really goes back to, like, not every creator is going to be like Austin, where regardless of who the client is, they're going to give it their all, right? They're going to pick and choose. And of course, if you're the friend and if they really believe in what you're doing and you have that emotional resonance, the content is going to be that much better. So I think it is worth it, especially putting out big dollars, to go invest, build that relationship. And I think that's going to carry you far beyond just a couple pieces of content alone as well.
And on that note of best practices, Stephen, for you, like for the founders out there, if they want to experiment with working with a creator, is there like a playbook that you would recommend to them on how they can do it successfully? And then Austin, for you, creators working with brands, like how do you set up the conversation so it goes well and they don't, never want to work with you again?
Yeah. Sort of on our end, it really depends on the scale of the type of creator that you're working with. One thing that we did early on, and I recommend any company sort of do this, is so a lot of creators, like if they have millions of followers, you can't really afford to post in their main channel. So a much cheaper way to test creator content and sort of validate if this content's going to work for your brand is, instead of having creators post content on their channel, they can make a video for you, but you then post on your own account or white label it almost. That's way cheaper to do because you're not paying for the audience of sort of that creator. Not all creators are going to do it, but early on we found a bunch of these creators. It's more UGC style content, and very cheaply you can make a bunch of pieces of these videos, create accounts, and then launch them on TikTok. And then if the algo likes it, it's going to boost it. I do think the algo is pretty trained on sort of creators' faces that are famous. So there's also that intent sort of behind the scenes that probably gives you an extra boost in the algo. That to me is like, probably if you're scrappy, you don't have that much money, that's probably the quickest and fastest way to test sort of creator content. And then on the types of content that resonate, whether it's the hook, whether it's the creator itself, then you can gain higher conviction and double down sort of your dollars and have higher conviction in the ROI. That's one place that I would start if we're going back to square zero.
I think on the creator side, it's important to have a conversation with the brand and make sure that they really understand your content beforehand and know that you're going to make fun of their dick pill company. But in general, like, you just have to be aligned and make sure that your values aligned with the company's values. And it's sort of like a spectrum of, they pay you more money to sell out, as like they try to like throw more money at you and they're like, just don't do any of your values anymore. So it's definitely tempting to not stay true to the type of content you want to make. And it's always like, when I first started out, I would take more deals where it's like, we'll just pay you a lot and do exactly this type of content, because it's like, you need to make money. And it's just not fulfilling at all. The content doesn't do well. It's like brands are like giving you a very specific script and telling you exactly what to do, and it doesn't do well. Like, it never does well. So like, I think on the brand side, they should give creators the liberty to experiment and create content that like really resonates with their audiences, and ensure that I think brands could be I get like brand safety and stuff, but I don't know. I think there should be some, like, you're tapping into an audience of different creators that have like very large audiences. And I think it's worth being like sort of self-aware and less uptight. Like I think like, I don't know, a big proportion of brands are very like LinkedIn safe, and it's just like kind of lame and not authentic at all. So I feel like by being a little, not even edgy, but just like being open to being different and outside of just like the most sterile, bland, LinkedIn safe content, you're gonna resonate with people on a deeper level because you're being more authentic and you're not just being like pandering and fake.
Completely agreed. One thing I'd add, and this is universally true of all the big creators that we work with, or any of the creators that we work with, is all of them are angel investors, Austin included. And that was really important to me. Like, before I want to work with you, like, do you care about what we're doing enough that you'll commit your own capital to sort of being bought at the company? So every creator that we work with actually has it as a stake, and we carve out part of our round and give them a good discount. I think that's sort of the other side of the offer. We usually don't do that, but I think it's worked out terrifically in this case where they genuinely care beyond sort of the paycheck that's sort of going in the economic sort of trade-offs there.
Yeah, Austin, we've talked about this a little bit, but do you do angel investing in some of the companies that you admire that you want to work with?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get more into that. I think like it's cool that I do content, and I mean my primary passion is comedy, so I make sure all the things that I do, there's so many ways to make money, so I want to focus on doing it with that as the center context. And if I wasn't a comedian and didn't want to do that, I would probably try to be a tech founder, tech bro. But with that being said, I still want to be exposed to the upside of like the tech industry, and I still have one foot in the door, and I'm really passionate about that still. And I think angel investing is a good way to still have some skin in the game for that. I think it's a huge opportunity. Obviously, there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of AI companies. Thank God he's not an AI company primarily. It's like a real thing, and they're like licensed brokerage. So I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of hype, but being able to invest is big, especially when a lot of these startups are cash strapped. Yeah. So it's kind of like a win-win. If you align with the company, you can do some equity instead. And I think that's a novel thing. And Jeff's trying to make that happen, which is cool.
It's true.
Yeah. I want to add one thing. Something that's been like on my mind is like we scaled up, right? The classic question on the startup side is like, you want distribution, and the creators have distribution. On the other side, you've listened to Austin, right? They have distribution, but then you want the product to sort of really make money and generate revenue. I think there's a big convergence happening right now where you clearly see all the best companies, they sort of crack distribution and they funnel that, and sort of you can lever it up essentially with sort of whatever product you have and translate that into revenue. But I think the same is going in the other side, right? You see every big NBA star is a venture capital fund now. Every NFL team selling a stake to sort of private equity. I think the next 5 to 10 years, as we see the industry develop and as we become more of an algorithm-driven society, especially sort of AI that makes content proliferation as fast as possible, it's going to be key. The winners are going to be the intersection of both. And I could see one day Austin might launch a fund himself and become one of these operators. And I think the best companies in whatever shape or form, Austin's running a company too, I'm running a company, is going to be the winners. And your two superpowers are going to be the intersection of those 2 points.
That's so true. I was actually thinking of exactly that on the way here. I completely agree. I think like right now it's like you have tech founders that are focusing on building the product, and they're assembling teams around a product that they can get users for and sell. And then you have creators that are making content, and the content is sort of the product right now. And then on the creator side, it's functionally a media business. It's production company is sort of the direction. As you're scaling up your content, you become a production company where you have a crew, you have editors, you have producers, and you can make more and more content. And fundamentally, you're really good at making the organic content that does well. And the businesses that do the best are the ones that have their own like media side and their own distribution. And like was like Red Point or something, they have like a pretty viral thing. I don't know, there's other ones too. Yeah. But a lot of people have their own in-house creator teams and production teams, and I think similarly creators are going to have, I mean they already are, like I think the big thing is they sell courses, which I think that's stupid. But like having actual products to use your distribution to funnel to is the next frontier, pretty much.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Maybe we'll end with this final question. I'll leave it pretty open for you guys. Steven, for the founders out there, what advice do you have for them in terms of working with creators or considering working with creators? And in Austin, same for you as a creator. To the creators out there who want to up-level their game and get more brand deals and maybe get some equity and just crush it in the creator game, what advice do you have for them?
Hey, you want to go first? I can think about it.
I'll go first. All right, I'm sorry, Austin, to all the creators in the room. Don't even think about creators in their early days. Your job as a founder is to find product market fit on your frickin' product And that better work first before you think about other distribution channels. Number one best way to grow is not leaning on someone else's distribution. It's word of mouth. Your product is so damn good that other people are talking about it. And that's first and foremost. Then all of the other distribution channels that you pay for are levers to amplify that, to accelerate growth. So I think it's very easy to get caught up in like, oh, you went viral yesterday and you got one big day of like DAOs that started, but does that retain? Probably not. So I think it's mirage, smoke, and mirrors. It might look good and feel good to have one great viral TikTok video or go viral with Austin for one thing and do a big launch. But you need to retain that. You want to build an enduring business. And I get it, like especially the younger founders now today, you're so optimized, dopamine driven to sort of, oh, it feels great that all of your friends are talking about this video, but you got to stay dialed in. This is a multi-year journey and hopefully it lasts for a long time. And one blip sort of here and there, it's not going to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah. Sorry to all the founders in the room, but if you're a creator, find the founders, take all their cash. That's go on Crunchbase, see who's raising money, take their fucking money. I'm dead serious. Truly, go on Crunchbase, find all the companies that are raising money, that have a marketing budget, contact them, have your brand manager who has no idea about tech companies, probably fire them, and then hire someone to do outbound sales for you or find a brand management firm that can work with tech companies. And then reach out to all these companies raising money, all these AI companies, no offense, everyone in the room, you're fucked. You have no moat, there's no defensibility. They're just throwing cash at marketing because they know that like any 17-year-old could drop out of middle school and like literally like vibe code your same company in like literally 1 hour. Like you're completely fucked. So unless you have some proprietary technology or a fat Series C where you can throw all your marketing budget at all the creators first, you're completely railed. So like if you're a creator, get all the money while you can because it's gonna go away. 90% of the companies are going out of business. 10% are gonna remain. I hope his remains because I'm invested and I'm partnered.
We're in the same boat. We're tight.
But truly, yeah, try to avoid the companies that are going to go under, and then the rest take their cash.
I love that.
Round of applause. These guys. There's a lot of truth to that. Where can people, like, should people download Dub? Like, where can people follow you? Dub.com?
Dubapp.com.
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 Okay, cool. And Austin, you have a show tomorrow?
Yeah, I have a show tomorrow. So if you guys want to come, I think it's almost sold out. We have Tech Roast show tomorrow at Skirball Center. I think we're close, so get tickets now. And then next week, if you missed that, I'm doing a stand-up show at The Stand on October 9th. So come check that out too. Yeah. And I'm releasing a comedy special in October, so be on the lookout. It's my first comedy special. Woo! Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Andrew.
Round of applause. This has been awesome.